wanted to gather today as we're nearing the end of the $3.3 million highway improvement project through the center of Milford on Route 16 from Water Street, just over the corner here, to begin just beyond Draper Park, to Route 85. And it has certainly improved, I think, the downtown community and has modernized the traffic signals, widened the streets, added a lot of improvements to the downtown area. And we have, I think, many things over the last close to 20 years, I think, that Congressman Richard Neal has represented the town of Milford, that whenever he has been called upon by any of us in the legislature or in the local government to assist in projects here, he has been right on the spot and willing to help and to bring the assistance of the federal government to help. And in this project, it certainly was one where the state had been given hundreds of millions of dollars, I guess actually billions of dollars in the stimulus funding to try to help the Massachusetts and every other state out of the recession. But an opportunity that it was decided by the governor's office where the money would be spent. And I think if it weren't for Congressman Neal on this and a couple of other projects, I think Pulaski Boulevard in Bellingham was another one, that we might not have seen the benefits of that project, those projects, this project and the one in Bellingham and others, without his influence in Boston with Governor Patrick. And we have, as a result of the redistricting and the loss, but also the reapportionment, the loss of a seat in the Congress by Massachusetts, Congressman Neal represents almost New York now as part of the redistricting, but certainly a good part of Western Massachusetts. And we got kind of an unknown elected to Congress now representing the 4th District. I'm sure he'll soon build a record of achievement, perhaps close to what Congressman Neal had achieved, but it might take a couple of years, the way especially at the speed that the Congress is working these days. But yeah. Once you've been around, once you've been around for a few terms,
he's not going to come back, you know.
Once you've been around for a few terms, they might know who you are.
We'll work on it.
Okay. But first, let me, since the project is the primary benefit, while it's a benefit, I think, to the region, for the folks that travel through Milford, but for the benefit of the community itself, and I think it would be most appropriate to have Brian Murray, the chairman of the Milford Board of Selectmen, to say a few words.
Thank you, Senator. On behalf of the town of Milford, let me welcome the good congressman from New York here, Richard Neal. We certainly miss you. We had great years with you here in Milford. Always very, very responsive, very attentive to the needs of the community, and I think this project just evidences that. So, Congressman Kennedy, you certainly have large shoes to fill, but I know that you'll certainly do that. Senator, Representative John Fernandes, thank you for having me here. For the town of Milford, let me first just recognize our town engineer, Mike Santora, who did an excellent job coordinating the project on the town's behalf with the contractor on a day-to-day basis. I think all of you know that issues pop up in any type of construction project that need immediate attention and detail, and there's no one more qualified than Mike Santora to do that. Working hand in hand with him is our highway surveyor, Scott Crisafulli, again, partnering with the contractor to make sure that all of the details were covered. And last but not least, our police chief, Tom O'Laughlin, who provided excellent coverage and services throughout the construction phase. And that was not always easy to do with traffic ongoing and business as usual. For me, I remember this project starting, I want to say 2002. And it started at the Board of Selectmen level simply with a request to update the 7 intersection lights. And at that time, the proposed budget was about $272,000. So we went through about, I think, 97 levels of review and engineer analysis and plans. And I know Mike spearheaded a lot of that as it weaved its way through the the state process. And then all of a sudden, we got notification from the state that they wanted to expand that project to the $3 million plus version that you see now, that not only includes updating the traffic lights, but major repaving, reworking of all of the intersections. As a selectman, you know, the primary concern that I hear from residents is traffic. And I think this project goes a long way towards solving that concern, as well as updating and sequentially scoring the lights, so that, you know, a trip down Main Street is not a stop-start situation. You know, anecdotally, I can notice the difference simply by walking Main Street, driving through the town, and also the comments that I hear from residents. So, you know, to me, it's a great cooperative example of our federal officials, our state officials, and our town officials working together to bring some real meaningful change to the citizens of Milford. So for that, I want to thank Senator Moore, Representative Fernandes, Congressman Neal, and also Congressman Kennedy. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
And before introducing our next speaker, I do want to recognize Nora Keefe, who's with us today, who's the staff person coordinating Central Massachusetts with Senator Elizabeth Warren. And we expect Senator Warren to continue sending money back to Milford as well. And I'm sure that's where she is now in the Senate, probably finding more money for us to help improve the community. Let me now call up my House colleague, my partner in representing Milford, Hopedale, and Mendon, Representative John Fernandes, a member of the Joint Committee on Transportation.
Indeed. Thank you, Senator Moore. I do want to make a serious announcement. As they finish the final leg of this project down at the intersection of Route 16 and Cedar Street, there'll be inconveniences, but Senator Moore has agreed to take all complaints and handle them. So you call his office at 617-722-1420, that'll be it, and he'll take care of all of those for you. Or visit him. Or visit him, yes, at the State House. It really is a pleasure to be here to thank Richie Neal for his work on this particular project, and so many projects over the 20 years that he represented this community. I've said many times, and I'll say it again today about Congressman Neal, he gets it in terms of the importance of public service when it comes to delivering constituent service. That there's a part of this job that is global, it's about taking on the big issues, and Congressman Neal understands that. If you heard him during the last campaign a few years back, when the issues were very contentious, and you heard him talk about things like Medicare, issues like that, you understood both that he understood those issues, and he had a role in making sure that we were well represented in preserving what people on the ground in this community and others need. But when it comes to the constituents within the community, nobody that I've met has been better at understanding what it takes to deliver services in the community like this Route 16 project. When the first round of release of funds came on the stimulus project several years back, I was on the Transportation Committee at that time, and I remember distinctly we were up in Springfield doing hearings on the Transportation Reform Bill, and the Secretary at that time, Secretary Aloisi, was there. Out came the proposal, and there was this glaring hole in central Massachusetts of any projects. And I looked at the Secretary on a break and I said, what in the world are we doing? This is supposed to be something that is across the state, and everybody is going to benefit because the goal was, of course, to deliver both improvements to the communities on several shovel-ready projects, but to put people back to work. And we wanted to see that happen across the state. Got together with Senator Moore, talked with our local officials about projects, got in touch with Congressman Neal, and honestly, within hours, we were getting attention at the governor's level about how to change this around and get a project done out this way. And we all know that transportation is very important. If you poll people and say, what's the most important thing to you, they're not going to say transportation. If you put it on a list of items, it comes up in the 2, 3, 4 range, because people understand the importance of moving traffic safely and quickly across a community. So it's just one of many projects that Congressman Neal has helped us with, and to the chief and to Mike Santoro, who's going to be retiring, and this is your legacy, your last legacy project, to Scotty, who made this happen over the course of the project. I remember driving down Main Street at one point, and we were over here at the corner, and I saw a car turn down a one-way street because the one-way sign had been taken. Put in the phone call, up it goes within a matter of minutes, and so traffic is safely moving again. Managing these projects is important, and so to Richie Neal, thank you. To you guys, to local officials, and Congressman Kennedy, we can joke about it, but I watched him through the campaign recently. He understands the importance of knowing people on the street, understanding what their needs are, and delivering. And I look forward to working with him. It's a great transition between these two guys, and I know we'll be well served for many years to come. So thank you very much for your work on this. Thank you.
Before introducing our star of the day, I want to recognize Virginia Purcell, who's a longtime staff member of Congressman. She was out actually her office was located at the starting point of this project. And she, by the way, Congressman Kennedy, represented Congressman Neal at this end of the congressional district and provided a great deal of service. And I hope your wife gave you the message I gave her last week about the need to look at making sure that the area was well represented and that you had ears everywhere to make sure that you could continue the level of attention that Congressman Neal provided through Virginia Purcell. But it is Richie Neal and I have been good friends for a long time, even when he was the mayor of Springfield. I think he's done an outstanding job, and it really is the personification of a great public servant and someone who has, while he went to Washington, he never forgot the people back home and the need to do some things that made their lives a lot easier, and to cut through the bureaucracy of our national government in order to make sure that and actually also our state government through his connections with our state administration, to make sure that the people of Milford and the people of this area got first-class service. So our great Congressman Richard Neal.
Thanks, Dick. Thank you, Dick. Always a personal note of reflection and thanks to Senator Moore and Representative Fernandes. They were unyielding and unwavering in their loyalty to me, personally and professionally. Always just an important footnote, when I had opposition, these two guys sat at the table with me during debates. And Brian Murray the same way, the Board of Selectmen, outstanding. And I, as you know, didn't want to give up Milford. I came to Milford in kind of a strange way, the congressional redistricting process, and it was a hearing that took place here on the S&Ls. There were 3 members of Congress at the time that might have gotten Milford. You're not surprised to know all 3 of us, Barney, Frank, Joe Early, and I all showed up for the hearing. And I got Milford, and I couldn't have been any happier. You voted for me consistently by big numbers. Chief and Mike couldn't have had better friends. I mean, it's the only place that I would do talk radio with Ed Thompson, and he would say, Congressman, I got to put you on hold while I do the Little League scores. So I would listen to the Little League scores from my apartment in Washington at 6 o'clock in the morning. But the whole town couldn't have been any more receptive. And John's correct as he described how this Route 16 project got underway. They had been to a hearing, they were dissatisfied. And so as I leaned on the governor, gave him a shout over the issue, I decided as the governor was feeling a bit, that he needed to do something for us, I came quickly to the conclusion he should do 2 projects. And that's why we did Pulaski Square in Bellingham as well. And Public Works, I think, is indicative of the ease with which we move from one place to another. It's a very important consideration in terms of efficiency. And today, as you know, I think the country needs a big Public Works bill. Virginia Purcell, as Dick noted, she represented me here for 20 years. maintained that office, and she used to go over, just by way of a footnote, during her lunch hour, she went to the senior center every day and volunteered. And so if you wonder why I did so well here, it was first-class constituent service as well as a steady presence. We were here all the time. And I want to tell you sincerely, you're getting a great congressman. Joe Kennedy's going to be terrific. I served with his dad, served with his uncle, and in fact, I was thinking of the Blackstone Valley project on my way out, and we added communities to the Blackstone Valley corridor. We worked hard on Milford Pond, which I hope that the state is going to be able to continue. And one of the best initiatives that we had here in Milford was Varela. The idea that we were able to keep that company going with more than 200 jobs, and that was personal involvement. And from the time that they visited me in Washington until John and Dick and I got involved with the town here, Brian, it worked. And I look at Barry, and Barry used to organize the debates out here, and you can't say you were impartial. That's why I always wanted you in the room from the Chamber of Commerce. So it was a joy to represent this town, and I'm pleased that we're coming to the end of this initiative, and I hope that as time goes on, you're going to remember me as fondly as I'm going to remember all of you. I have a district now that's been consolidated in the western part of the state, and in a lot of ways the media market's much easier for me. But having said that, I never regretted once coming to Milford and coming to the communities out here, participating in high school basketball games and watching Little League baseball and throwing out the first pitch and doing all the things that you asked me to do. And incidentally, appointing your children to the military academies. You had a bevy of young men and women who went to the military academies from this region. So it's been a joy for me, and as I indicated, I came in with great humor, largely because there's a tug of emotion that I feel in seeing all of you, how good you were for me over all of those years. So thank you all very, very much, and we need a dedication at Pulaski Square.
You did that too?
Yeah.
Great. Congressman Kennedy. We'll do a warmer day, though, today. I think that was a good intro, a good segue to the business community and to the role of the business community with Barry Feingold, the president of the Milford Area Chamber of Commerce, the MAC, to maybe comment a little bit about some of the benefits to the business community and the economy of the area.
Sure. Kind of a tough act to follow, but just on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, you know, we're going to miss Congressman Neal, of course. I remember the first time I met the congressman. It was on with the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. We went down to Washington and did one of the fly-ins where we got to meet with all the delegates. And Congressman Neal was unbelievable. He took us around, gave us the tour of the Capitol, and it was just a wonderful experience. And I think that's an excellent example of the relationship between the business community and our elected officials, starting with, of course, on the federal level, and you know, working with Congressman Neal, it's been wonderful. This is what it's all about: business, the private sector coming together with the public sector, and if we can work together to promote the quality of life, that's what it's all about. Doing this with Congressman Neal, and we're very excited, of course, now with Congressman Kennedy to continue this. And that's the federal level. And then, of course, on the state level, we have some wonderful guys right here in Milford with Dick and John. And we could not ask for a better relationship with both of you. You do have our back when it comes to you know, looking out for the business community. It's all about job creation. It's all about improving, again, like I said, the quality of life in the town of Milford. And then on the local level, of course, working with our Board of Selectmen. It's a close relationship. We all live in this area, we all work in this area, so we have to get along, we have to work together to promote business. With this excellent project, we've all driven up and down Main Street or Route 16, and we've all had our challenges getting through. This is a great step in the right direction as far as alleviating our traffic challenges through downtown Milford. And it's we've definitely seen an improvement. It's all about, you know, helping to put people together, bringing people together. And if we can help Route 16 and the Main Street facilitate that by, you know, allowing people to get together quicker, that's a great job. So we're very excited to, you know, to see this improvement. I know they got a little more to do down on Main Street and Cedar Street, I just drove around that right now. But once that's done, it's going to be excellent. It's going to help a lot, and we're just excited to be able to work with you guys more and bring people together. So once again, I want to thank the Congressman for his initiative, and we're going to wish you the best of luck out in not New York, almost New York, but we hope we'll see you. Yeah, Vermont, New York. But again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks very much, Barry. Obviously, Congressman, there are no Ed Thompsons in Western Massachusetts to have to wake you at 6 in the morning. So, yeah, you would have appreciated the charity roast that he was the star at a few weeks ago.
I think you were the star.
We just needed to have you mic'd so we could have heard your pain in the process. But with that, let me introduce our new congressman, who's off to a great start. Milford Daily News just had the pictures wrong the other day. I should have been the bigger picture, not Frank Saber. So we have to work on that. But at least both, and I was on the bottom fold of the front page, not the top fold. So we're going to have to talk to the editorial staff there to make sure they understand. You got in both pictures, so I guess that means that you're famous. But you must have a good press aide to help you with that. But our new congressman, who's going to keep the money coming to Milford, what was it? The bypass road, the Milford Pond. We finished the Milford Pond, so we can name it after the congressman.
That'll help with the money.
Yeah. We don't want to make it. It should not be a memorial pond, though. We wanted to just in honor of you to keep that going. But with that, our great new congressman, Congressman Joe Kennedy.
I was wondering at first why I got invited. Now I totally understand. Senator, thank you. Thank you for including me today. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support over the course of the past year. I'm sure, I know many of you know this, but one of the first people that I reached out to when I started to put together my campaign a year ago was Senator Moore. Not just because he has this incredible amount of institutional knowledge about issues in politics in Massachusetts, but because of the way he represents the people of his district and the people of Milford. And as I started to get to know the community, one of the first next people I reached out to was John Fernandes. And Representative, I greatly appreciate your words. We went door to door together. We must have knocked on every single door in Milford. And what he didn't say in his kind remarks earlier was that the reason why people were so friendly to me was because they were all his friends. And the ability that it then gives you as a new voice and a new face in town, but to be able to be knocking on those doors with somebody who was trusted, who was truly a member of that community, gave me an incredible boost that you can't quantify and you can't quite put into words. But Representative, thank you for all that you did, for your friendship, and for your advocacy. I can't really get by coming out to Milford for more than 10 minutes without a traditional refrain that I hear very often in other parts of this district. You will never be as good as Richie Neal. If only you did this as he did. And I have to say, between these three incredible elected officials, you've set the bar so incredibly high for constituent service, as the people of Milford deserve. But certainly something to aspire to, not just in terms of the orientation of an office, but really defining what it means to be a public servant, and always remembering that, yes, despite these major issues that are debated in the halls of Congress, that it is about serving the people that you are elected to represent. And it's something that no one in Congress does better than Congressman Neil. And I know the people of Milford, the people of this region, the people of Massachusetts have been so fortunate to see that time and time again over his career in Washington and his career in public service. And so, Representative, as difficult as it sometimes is to continue to hear how great you were when I'm the new guy coming in, it is it is a wonderful example that you set for the rest of us, and set particularly for me. So thank you for that. To Brian and Barry, thank you for all your support. I look forward very much to working together with you over the days, weeks, months, and if I do this as well as he did, hopefully the years ahead. To all of you, I'm sure you will be vocal. I'm sure your advocacy will continue to be targeted, and I look forward to serving you in any way we possibly can. I just want to thank the chief for hosting us today as well. It's great to see you again. Thank you all very, very much.
Hey, I think that concludes our prepared remarks. I don't know if any of the media have any questions, or if you want to grab any of these folks individually. Ed Thompson already grabbed them on the way in. That's why I was so late getting started, because he had to get his morning show done. But if not, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank our local officials for all the great work that they've done. And we still have a traffic light that's got to go in up at the end of Water Street, right? And I think we're working on some more work on Main Street too. So there's a lot of good things, I think, that we'll see in this construction season as well. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks, Bob.
I'm Joe Kennedy. I'm the congressman from the 4th District of Massachusetts, and I represent Milford. And this is a tremendous project, a revitalization of the Main Street area, and a real tribute to the leadership of Congressman Neil, Senator Moore, Representative Fernandes, the business community, and the community at large here. Something that I know is going to really help strengthen the community in the years to come, and is the type of coordination between all different sectors of society and government to be the type of development that we need in our community. So really set the standard for me, and a great example as I get settled in here as a new congressman, to try to emulate in all of the service that Congressman Neil has provided to Milford over the past decade, and a fitting tribute to him and the community as well.
Well, I'm delighted that this project is coming to a conclusion. Great credit goes to Senator Moore and Representative Fernandes. They were the ones that pursued it energetically. They asked me at a critical moment to weigh in with the governor and the administration. I was only too happy to. Today, we are celebrating the conclusion of what has been a lengthy, but I think worthwhile initiative. Route 16 has been a lingering challenge for the people of Milford for many, many years. I worked with Mike and Chief O'Laughlin to make sure that this happened. And the Board of Selectmen, they get a lot of credit here because they were right in the middle of it with us.